thank you all for coming. Good afternoon. Sorry we started so late, but wanted to present to you today the status of our audio drama, Helios, starring Nick Tate, narrated by Nick Tate. I know you will probably tell you directed by Nick Tate.
I have nothing to do with it.
Just to give you some background really quick before we go into the demo part of it, you can look at our website, roguemoonproductions.com. You can also see us on Facebook as well as Instagram and LinkedIn. So do please, reach out to me, connect. We first started recording in May 2023 with Nick, Cindy Dolence, Tom Maclaren, and Anthony Montgomery, Connor Tenier, Dominic Keating, as well as Tori Griffith. And then final editing ceased in September of 2024. All right, we did our final catch up and all that last year.
I'm just going to interject. You'll recognize some of those other actors from Star Trek Enterprise. That's Anthony Montgomery, Connor Tenier, and Dominic Keating. We're all from Star Trek Enterprise, so I'm sure you're very familiar with them. And the beautiful blonde lady that you saw is Cindy Dolence. She was in the TV series La Femme Nikita. And an interesting little tidbit about Cindy was that she was actually discovered by Stanley Kubrick for his last film, Eyes Wide Shut. And the reason that she became our leading actress in the show is actually because she was recommended by Susie Landau, Martin and Barbara's daughter. So there's all kinds of connections everywhere. But Cindy was our fantastic leading lady as well. Absolutely terrific performance. So when you hear it, you're gonna love her.
Was she La Femme Nikita?
She was.
She was. Yeah. You said she was in it. She was it.
She was it.
Yeah.
She was it.
She was it. So I'm sorry, but I just interjected.
No, absolutely. Please cut in as necessary.
All right.
So soon, about 6 to 9 months after we were, after we wrapped up, we were looking for a distributor, and a distributor found us. Julia Whalen, the author of My Oxford Year, narrated over 300 audiobooks and has started her own publishing platform called Audiobrary, specifically for independents. Took a look at what we were doing and really wanted to put that into her catalog, so we are now available on her platform, as well as going into worldwide distribution on July 14th across anywhere you get your audio jam, whether it's Apple Books, Spotify, Audible, whatever. Side note, we're also on Barnes & Noble, and if you purchase Helios here, you can put a review on it. They won't ask you to purchase it from them. So do please, if you purchase it, please give us a review. We would really appreciate it.
And
So
you're all.
you said July 14th?
July 14th, we went worldwide.
Great.
Yep. In July and August, Audible listed us on their top picks for science fiction.
Did you put us in the middle of the top there, or was that?
They did.
That was them. That was
right.
Audible. Yes.
Fantastic.
And just to let you all also know, I will be on the Lovelace Music Experience WTBQ of New York, talking about the music of Helios. It's one of the places we're going to be. We're just going all over radio to try to spread the word on this. September 27th, 10 a.m. If you want to listen to me prattle on for a good hour, please join me.
Along with our fantastic music composer.
Yes, Michael Caputo.
Yes, who will be joining you on that broadcast.
That's right.
So all the music in Helios. When you hear Helios, and you are going to hear a clip from Helios in a little bit, when you hear it, the sound design and the sound production is fantastic because of Michael Caputo doing our music, and also because of our sound guy, whose name is Scott Peacock. And Scott is Scottish, surprise.
Yeah, big surprise.
But he's a BBC trained audio producer. and he was responsible for the whole sound, the audio world of Helios. So you're going to hear sound effects, and it's an enveloping environment that he created for us.
Okay, so with no further ado, we're going to play 2 clips. There's a little over 2 hours of actual audio, but we had to narrow it down to about 7 minutes because of the time constraint today. And we also wanted to, of course, augment the acting of our wonderful narrator and Tom as well. Okay, so you'll hear some really great interplay there. I think you'll really love it, but it's just a smattering of what you're going to hear.
I'm afraid our playlist's on auto-reverse tonight. iPod stopped when everything went to shit. Boombox went belly up too. You know, you made fun of my retro gear, but I'll tell you something. Those old knobs and tubes are still humming. It's one of the few things still working out here. Cars, clocks, phones, no stop ticking. My father always thought we got soft. Too far away from our roots. He was old school too. Set himself up as High King of the Desert long before I took over. Tom never could get on his good side.
She looks deeply into the flames. Recalling the fire on a different day.
Happy birthday, Dad!
A brand new digital radio to replace the old one. He shoves the box aside. No thanks. He leaves them and the gift behind. Tom is nonplussed at his father-in-law's reaction.
Bud told you. Dad, it's got multi-channel scan, signal processing. It'll pick up the Giants games on digital.
Digital? Giants? Who needs that garbage? So the Chinese can listen to you? Steal your secrets and drop the bad boys right on you?
Dad, the Chinese aren't spying on you.
That's the Ruskies then. Inside Dad's beloved Motorola.
Dad,
You can't trust anyone, Tommy boy. They're waiting out there for us, ready to stick the knife in when you're not looking. You go plug in that rat box and open your own front door to them. You just keep them away from me.
Victory over Toronto, a result
aren't you being a little paranoid?
Oh, 3 wars and 10 bullets. I will be as paranoid as I like.
double in the 10th inning, broke a 1-1 tie.
The school found out soon after.
Like an unwelcome specter of the dark, Tom's memory circles her.
You should have thought it through.
I eventually told Tom.
You know what this will mean for us.
He had his secrets, and I didn't want to live like that.
Do you know what this looks like? How do we hide something like this?
That was wrong. I never saw him like that before. Like he was protecting someone else. Or some strange idea of what we were. I just ran away. Got out of the house and came here. He never followed. I could never tell Emily. She's Daddy's little girl. It would never have gone over with her, so I replaced one secret with another.
The cold stare of Tom's memory now replaces itself with the warm consolation of a father's hand on her shoulder. You beat yourself up too much.
It's funny. Emily ended up just like me. Welded to Daddy's hip.
Like I was so bad for you? It was never your fault.
Sometimes I think I'm the reason why. That I invite this somehow.
But consolation has little countenance on Jessica's remorse, as a father's memory also withdraws to the ether.
You know, I really like your friends, Jim and Colin, when you told me. I like how you talk about them, like you're all brothers.
Tony smiles toward the radio.
You really have a lot of faith in them. I wish I had two people like that I could count on.
I'm right here, Jess.
Sometimes I wonder what I did to get here. I mean, here I am, in the middle of my life, alone, in the middle of nowhere. Is this my penance? My punishment for who I am? To die out here alone? All I wish is that I could hear your voice right now.
Okay, that's it. Tony slides the repaired transmitter back into place.
Come on, baby. Work for me.
Her fire now a pile of embers. Her Walkman run down. Jess sleeps in a chair, wrapped against the cold.
Huh? Hello? Nightfly?
I'm here.
What happened?
Rival station muscling in on my territory. Screwed with my radio. Took a while to fix.
I called the hotline. Let you know your biggest fan didn't give up on you. Did you, get any of it?
I'm sorry, biggest fan. Bastards must have cut the lines too. I guess you're gonna have to tell me all over again.
Is that right?
Guess so.
Very interesting watching the audience as this was playing, because I enjoyed seeing a number of you closing your eyes to listen to it, and I, you know, that's a way to really appreciate the sound and the voice performances of the actors.
And if you do decide to purchase it, it will sound a hell of a lot better
And it does on these
crappy
speakers.
speaker that's out here.
Yeah.
There's,
Yeah.
you know, the one thing we've heard from a lot of people is that there's a serious sound field to it that really is brought to life by a very good pair of headphones or a real stereo system. So, you know, just bear that in mind.
We never introduced you, everyone up here is, obviously we know who Nick is, but on the
Yep, that was- so I also want to introduce, you already know me and Robert, you certainly know Nick. Tom Maclaren plays Tom Flood. André Bormanis, our supervising producer. and Tammy Klein, our producer.
I've heard the beginning 15 minutes of this, which is very telling. It's very entertaining. It's a revealing story. This was, I have to say, rather awkward to get into the middle of it, not knowing what the heck is going on. I think if you wanted to have a proper demonstration of it, you should hear the beginning, because it sets up what it's all about. It was a bit distracting, but you could, nonetheless, you could hear the wonderful quality of work that's gone into all the sound effects, the atmosphere of the piece, and the lovely, gentle, but firm quality of the lead actress and the other actors in the show. I just think that for demonstration purposes, it's a good idea to hear the beginning. Have we got time to hear the beginning?
How about this? Well, who
5
wants to
minutes.
hear it?
Yes.
Okay. Tell you what, while I cue it up, how about we start with some Q&A and then I'll...
Okay, all right, so let's take, if there are any questions to begin, for any of us up here, for Nick or myself or Andre or Tammy? No, okay, yes, all right, there you
Just a
go.
broad question for everyone. What's the genesis of this? What made this?
So I'll tell you that while Steve is queuing it up. Helios is created by Steve and myself and Christopher Penfold. It came about on a trip to Steve's place in Florida. We were together, we were watching some recent sci-fi movies at the time, Gravity being one of them. Chris loved it. We went out to the Space Coast near Steve's house. We went to the Rocket Garden, walking around. So all that stuff was kind of in our minds. And of course, Chris was always very, very in tune with what's happening in the world, environmentally, sociologically, all those sorts of things. And we started talking about creating something that kind of tied in with all of that. And Helios was born. And we then wrote an initial script. We developed it, created all the characters, created the world. We wrote an initial script, which we rewrote a number of times over the years. And then a few years ago, I think it was just a few years ago, that we looked at it differently one day. And because we'd been telling a very grand, big story as the first story. And one day, Steve and I were just talking, and I said, well, what if we change the way we open it? What if we start with a little intimate story? So the idea basically is this is a post-apocalyptic scenario. And what if we start with one woman living alone, surviving alone in the southern United States desert in an Airstream trailer? If you've seen the poster, there's an Airstream trailer. And we start with her and her world, and then she's got a old school radio, and she scans the radio waves every night. And one night she picks up a signal from a guy who's somewhere far away from where she is, but they start to be able to be in communication with each other. And they start to develop a relationship without ever seeing each other. And it becomes, as you'll hear when you listen to the full drama, it becomes essentially a long-distance love story between two people who never actually meet in person. And so it's a beautiful, I think it's a very beautiful, personal, intimate, small kind of way to get you into the universe of Helios. And then when we do the next episode and the next episode, it becomes so much bigger. There is a huge story to be told, but this is, I kind of joke, I say this is the gateway drug to get into the bigger world of Helios. This is the thing that's going to make you fall in love with these two characters and want to know more. And that's the thing that everyone that has heard it, that I've heard from, has said, when can we hear the next one? Because we need to know what happens next. And so that's a pretty awesome reaction to get from people. Everyone wants us to do the next one, which is great. We will. We've actually the next. So I will say also, episodes. So this is essentially, if you think of it in kind of TV terms, This is the pilot, 2-hour pilot. And then there's episode 2, episode 3, which are basically also feature-length pieces. But those first 3 scripts were written by Steve and I with Chris Penfold before he passed away. And so that's really a special thing I wanted to mention as well.
And with input.
And
from
André,
as well.
André has been our friend and supporter and supervising producer the whole way along as well. And if you folks, I'm sure a lot of you already know André's name because you're fans of Star Trek. You'll have seen André's name on several different Star Trek series, including Enterprise and Voyager and The Next Generation. If you're fans of The Orville, you will have seen André's name as an executive producer on The Orville. If you're fans of Cosmos or Bill Nye's The End Is Nigh, that's also André Bormanis. So you will have seen many of André's shows, and we are tremendously grateful to have him as part of our team for all these years.
And of course, Chris Penfold was so instrumental in all the storylines for Space 1999.
Absolutely. He was the script editor for year 1, and he wrote a lot of our favorite episodes. You know, Guardian of Piri, War Games.
A wonderful human being.
Yes. Yeah.
When you ask about the genesis, just bear in mind it does go back over 10 years. So it changed and nurtured over time. The seed was planted over 10 years ago, because that's when I met Robert, Steve, André, and Tammy, literally in 2015.
Yeah. Tom has been with us the whole time as well. And also Tom's wife, who's sitting here in the audience as well, Mary Maclaren, who has also been in the industry here and has been terrifically helpful to us along the way as well. So we've got a wonderful, the great thing, and you know, Anthony Montgomery from Star Trek Enterprise, Anthony has been with us for a decade, you know, and he's been tremendously supportive and generous and kind. So it's great to have a team that has been connected in a very friendly, supportive way for so long. And Mr. Tate has been with us all that time as well.
I go right back with Chris Penfold to when he was a young writer in the ABC in Australia. I did a television series called My Brother Jack, and he was working on that production with me. I didn't see him for years and years and years until Space 1999. And although he wasn't instrumental, to my knowledge, in bringing me into the series of Space 1999, he was most certainly there watching the storylines and helping to create the quality and character of Alan Carter. So I have a great love of Chris.
And
He's not with us.
No, go ahead.
He's not with us now, but he's with us in spirit.
And one thing I will say also, that Chris very much believed in this. You know, there were times that he was like, I really don't know if I want to invest myself in another show to keep my hopes up. And you know, before he passed away, we were in the middle of, you know, editing, well, actually done with editing, but putting the final assembly together. So it was really heartening to see him start to hear it. You know,
He did hear
know
some
that-
of it, did he?
Yes,
Yes.
he did.
Oh, great.
He got to hear it before he passed away.
Good.
Yeah,
Special.
I told our sound director, Scott Peacock, to work like hell and get it out there. And he knew the criticality of what he was doing.
Criticality.
Yeah,
Do you have it lined up?
Yeah,
Chapter
it's
1?
lined up.
Okay.
All right.
How much are you playing?
Chapter 1.
All right. Ready?
18 minutes. Be prepared.
Apocalyptic world.
been fought. But you wouldn't know it here, in the deep desert that was once America. The sun beats down like it always has and always will on this unforgiving landscape. The few inhabitants of this land may be oblivious and uncaring about the greater events that have occurred in what was once a more civilized world. All except one. Chapter 1. The Day After. A lone figure ambles its way across the sands, a vagrant, dirty and weathered as the desert around him. He shuffles towards something that has taken his gaze. A small family graveyard with sandblasted headstones, barely distinguishable from the desert surrounding it. If this plot could speak, it would tell 1,000 stories. But a wild animal would never listen. Stopping in front of the first grave he sees, the vagrant's boot gives it a good kick. With a grin as malicious as the mind that drives him, he eyes another. The vagrant collapses to the ground, dead as his surroundings. Through the distant haze, the hunter, with an all too conspicuous limp, makes her way to the scene and her quarry. She fishes in a backpack, pulling something out. A Polaroid photograph for another dead trespasser. Pocketing it away, she strips the vagrant of his possessions and his pistol. She drags the body away from the site and toward less sacred ground. She leaves the body to the elements as the carrion birds circle overhead, as they sense the smell of death and a meal.
Dinner's on me, boys.
A barbed wire fence as far as the eye can see. Climbing over a break in the fence, something catches our hunter's attention. Crap. Jessica Flood removes her sunglasses as her eyes squint to focus something glaring in the noonday sun. Eyes that have seen more than anyone would give her credit for. Kneeling down, she inspects a loose wire.
How did that happen?
Carefully, she follows it over to something buried nearby. A tin can patiently biding its time as a bespoke landmine, with its tripwire undone. She looks around her, wondering if the defect was made by error or intent.
Guess I'll find out.
Dropping her pack, she fishes out a pair of pliers and carefully puts the watchful guardian back in order. An old Airstream trailer nestled in the lee of the craggy mountain, protected from the desert sun, its steel shell shadowed by a camouflage tarp. Jess fishes out a picture of the day's kill. She makes her way to the Airstream, a crudely drawn calendar on one side named Emily. She marks off another day.
10 months already.
She sticks the Polaroid to the trailer's silver skin now part of a rogues gallery of previous kills, part reminder and part warning. She takes a count.
26. Just keep them coming.
A doomsday prepper's paradise, or it could certainly be mistaken for one. Part family getaway and part survival barracks. She drops her things to the floor as she drags herself in. Beelining for the cupboard and an evening's dose of resolve. A set of lawn chairs stand guard next to a fire pit. Bottle and binoculars in hand, Jess sits herself down, wincing painfully. She shoves her left boot off with intent, but gingerly takes her time with the other, and with the bandage around her ankle.
I'll teach you to look first.
She digs both feet into the warm sand. She doesn't forget the bottle. She carefully surveys the mountains in the distance. Nothing to see, and for now, that's good enough. She watches the sunset and drifts away.
Heaven.
So there's a teaser for you. So now do you have any further questions for us, having heard a little bit more and knowing more about it?
Okay. Well, we were gonna hear the whole thing, I thought.
No, that's 2 hours. You've got to
It's only
buy
18
that.
minutes.
You've got to pay for that.
It's only 18 minutes.
You can get that on Audible or Spotify or Apple Books or Barnes and Noble, or you can buy the CD from us.
Right here.
Right here.
How much is it?
It's 20.
Okay.
There you go.
Got it.
All right. So, or comments. Comments. or
So do you
questions.
have more of the series in production?
Well,
So we have this first volume, and we have another the second and third volume is already written, just in the process of being converted over for audio drama format. But we do have the plot for basically the first 3 volumes is all done, the dialogue, everything.
Okay.
So,
but in terms of actively being in production, to answer your question, would you like to be an investor? We love investors. These things are not cheap to make. Steve funded this one himself personally, and so
You do it for the love of independent filmmaking, and it's very important that we nurture that stuff, because there's big budget Marvel films everywhere, and those get made very easily, relatively speaking, compared to the little independents. So we have to support the indies.
Tom and I'll just interject there. Tom and Mary just produced a movie on their own as well, which is called Ralph's Perfect Christmas, and Tom is the star, and there's a number of other great actors that you'll know from TV who are in their movie as well. And it just debuted in Toronto at the Toronto International Film Festival, and they're in the process of looking for distribution. So, but that's what you do when you have a passion project that you love. You do it yourself and you make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jeffrey's project also debuted in Toronto as well, so we're kind of in the same boat. But it's the love of filmmaking and telling a good story and putting your creativity out there for the world to see. So you have to hang in there, and it's a long process to make these things, and it's a long process to find distribution. But ultimately, we want We want to find our audience.
May I just interject?
Please.
I think the difference here is that the cleverness of this is that we are using our minds as the film. We're hearing the sounds, and if they're as cleverly done as they are here, we get a very good understanding of exactly how this film will be, how it will sound, and how it will feel. Now, to bring it to reality, the $100,000 or whatever dollars is spent on making this, then has to translate into $100 million to make the movie. So this is a cheaper way of getting that going. And if this is a good idea, then this will get made into a movie. And so the people that help invest in this would have a step up into the movie.
Gentleman had a question over here.
What I just heard, was it possibly inspired by the TV show Logan's Run? Because I've seen a lot of what I've heard on that show.
No.
Oh.
That's an easy answer.
I'll say this much. I mean, since it is a post-apocalyptic drama, I will say it is influenced by a heavy diet of dystopian science fiction. One of the films that we looked at was a film called On the Beach.
On the Beach, if you've seen that.
They just ran it recently on Turner Classic.
My dad is in it.
Is he?
He's the Australian admiral.
Great film. Oh my God.
And you'll hear there's a few
It
references.
will scare the out of you.
Yes, it will.
Watch that film.
And
And
that's-
especially knowing how long ago it was made. And yet they're still right.
Yeah, and especially now.
Yeah, sadly, especially
Yeah.
now.
You know, another film that a little bit reminiscent. My wife and I just watched for the first time in many years. Made in 1959, The World, the Flesh, and the
Exactly. They ran that
Harry
on Turner
Belafonte
Classic
and
after.
Kim Novak.
So it was
Yeah.
like there was a whole.
Yeah.
It's again, it's another great film. And Sidney Poitier's performance in that film is just.
Harry
like,
Belafonte, actually.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yes, you're right.
And
It
Mel
was just-
Ferrer, of all people.
Yeah,
He was great.
It was so odd to see him playing a bad guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so used to Mel Ferrer always playing these uplifting, really nice characters, but it was great seeing him
It was
play a
very,
bad guy.
very good. And
Yeah.
you know, that's the part of the, you know, what I think is so brilliant about what Steve and the gang have done here is that it as Steve said earlier, you know, it starts with this small story. One person, two people, trying to make contact. And then it expands into this so much larger world, and there is so much meaning in terms of, you want to know, well, how did the world get to this place? How did these people find themselves in this kind of existential dilemma? And that's one of the things that's great about the script, and one of the things I like from the beginning, is that you want to know what happens next. You know, you hear the first scene, you hear the dialogue, and you're thinking, oh, where's this going? What's next? What's next? What's after that? What's after that? And I love the audiobook format because, as Nick said, it conjures images in your mind in a way that, you know, I grew up long before there were, you know, video games and yeah, TV was around, but reading was my window and what conjured the greatest images for me. And when you have a great narrator like Nick,
We're not ending our panel quite
Excuse
yet.
me.
Nick has to go out, and so we just will thank Nick for being here. Thank you for his work in Helios. And we'll continue a bit more. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
no, that's all right. Thank you, Dan.
Okay. I know we had a question over here. Yeah.
It's kind of a comment and a question. So, for me, you know, I want to, you know, extend some, you know, I guess I'll say congratulations, and you know, just I'm in awe of, you know, other people trying to come out there and actually use the power of independent film and independent creativity to create projects that otherwise people wouldn't be able to see. You know, in addition to Helios, there's like another sci-fi thing I've been kind of contributing to, The Sojourn, and a few other audio dramas that I feel like are a cheaper alternative to actually, you know, at least bring in the concept to people.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is that, you know, so much that gets produced, if you see a movie trailer or a TV trailer, often it will say something like, you know, based on the video game, or based on the book, or based on whatever. It's very often based on existing IP. And so that was the thing with Helios, was that we did pitch it to multiple companies and studios and things, and one of the problems was that the IP isn't proven, and I think Hollywood's very much afraid of going for something that isn't already proven. You know, taking that risky leap of believing in something is difficult. So then we thought, okay, let's prove the IP.
Yeah.
And a great way of doing that these days, because the audio drama world is exploding, it's so popular, and audio books and audio dramas. So we decided to do it as an audio drama.
Yeah.
And that was a doable thing with an incredible quality level of production, casting, everything like that. And yeah, so we're tremendously happy with what we've done. I'm proud of it. And yes, I mean, going back to Ellen's question, we do want to get the second one and the third one done. It could take a little while, but you know, all the support we get for the first one helps us continue it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think
We'd like to get the word out so that we saw in the process that it's very important to have a named showrunner. So the more we can get this out there to the world and present to people, we hope that maybe, what's his first name? Flanagan? Mike, we hope Mike Flanagan, we hit his radar. Because anybody who's got Netflix knows that Mike Flanagan's got 1 million horror-related television series. We would love to hit the radar of somebody like that.
Sure, absolutely.
And that's when independent film can go and become big.
And I was kind of, you know, since I'm an independent filmmaker myself, I'm kind of, you know, wondering what your sort of words of wisdom would be to, you know, up and coming writers and people who want to create science fiction of their own. And
Find another job.
Well, I've been told don't quit your day job.
I mean, it depends on what your goal is. I mean, if you want to make your living at it, then that's a difficult thing to do. If you want to do it, do it.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to do anything in life, do it. You know, there's too many people who, excuse me for, you know, but I feel strongly about this because I'm an artist. I've been a painter professionally for my entire career. And so I feel very strongly about the idea that if you love something and if you really want to do something, you should do it. You know, there's too many people who go through life, you know, sitting in a job that they don't like, not pursuing their dreams, and then you end up regretting it, you know? So if you have a passion, you want to write, you want to create, do it. Absolutely.
Sometimes you have to wait for the right moment, the right time, so that maybe you've got enough money, like to make this one. So sometimes you have to wait a little bit. But to Robert's point, it's like you have to do it. You don't want to have regrets later in life.
And also, don't wait for the right moment to come along. Make that right moment come along.
And along the way, you're going to keep working at your craft, whatever it is. If you're writing or if you're composing music or whatever you're doing, you're going to keep working on your craft and building and getting better and developing those creative muscles, you know? And so when your time does come, these opportunities happen, you meet the right people and it gels, you're ready, you know?
So anybody who's got one of these, you know, can make a movie, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's, you gotta think about, you know, well, you're not gonna be able to get Liam Neeson probably to star in your iPhone movie, but, you know, you've got friends, you could do any kind of a story that fits into the constraints of what you have available to shoot. You know, that's the kind of thing that spurs a lot of creativity too, the limitations, right?
Very true.
And the technology is getting better.
Yeah.
You know, especially with AI now, which is dangerous in some levels, but also very enabling in others.
I know people who play around with it, and I'm not into it. It's just kind of not where my head is, and I'm probably too old to really do anything meaningful with it. But
you programmed in assembler, didn't you?
Yeah, well, probably back in the day, yeah. So you know, there are all sorts of opportunities. You know, do you have a blog? Write a blog. You know, write a. I don't know if you write short stories. Publish them online. You know, there are any number of opportunities to get your work seen by other people.
Right.
Doesn't guarantee success, but you know, if you don't start, then you'll never get there, right?
Absolutely.
As an actor, I started, you know, basically doing every job that was offered to me, and it didn't matter whether it was a short film, a student film, whatever it was. I wanted to build my resume, get my demo reel, and get the experience. And so I think whether you're in front of or behind the camera, get your stuff out there so that people will see it and it will grow. but you have to start somewhere. So you've got to write for a blog or take a small part in a short film. You've got to get something so you can show people, because it's show business. You have to have something to show your talent. So don't turn things down and don't avoid it, just do it.
Speaking of painting, I met many years ago Robert McCall, this great space artist.
Oh, God, yes.
Wonderful guy. And he did a talk for a class that a friend of mine was taking, college talk. So yeah, I met him in college, I guess. God, that's hard to believe. Long time ago. But he said that when he started out, he couldn't get people to pay him to paint spaceships and airplanes and other things that he enjoyed. He painted signs. He got a job as a sign painter. He said, basically, when I was starting out, any job that put a paintbrush in my hand, I took it. If I could do it, if I thought, yeah, I'll do it. And he did that for a long time. And then he kept working on his own stuff, showing that around. Eventually, when the space program started to take off, I don't remember the details of how he got involved in that, but he became like the premier space artist of his era. And of course, did the famous 2001: A Space Odyssey album cover, and did conceptual art for the first Star Trek movie. I mean, all sorts of incredible stuff.
When I started as an actor, I took a lot of unpaid jobs at the very beginning, just to get the experience and build a resume. So, sometimes when I first started, I always assumed that all actors were being paid for everything that was being seen on screen, but that's not necessarily true. There's a lot of non-union work out there when you're first starting as an actor, and they don't have to pay you. They're not following SAG-AFTRA guidelines, certainly, because it's non-union. But it's worth it. I mean, I don't regret any of those unpaid jobs I did those first couple of years, because they were all great experience. I learned something new on every single job. I would say every time I step in front of a camera or stand in front of a microphone like I did for this, I learned something new and I grow from it. So I would say the more work, the better. Just do it.
Copyright your work for sure. First thing,
Well, that depends where you are, though, too. I mean, in Canada, any creative thing that you create is automatically copyrighted. Any painting that I create is automatically copyrighted. It doesn't need to be done, or any written piece of work, a screenplay or a novel. You write it, it is automatically copyrighted. So here, I think it's different, but depends on what country you're in.
There is an automatic copyright, but nothing ever hurts it doesn't hurt to put it into the Library of Congress and get it copywritten for $50.
You used to be able to, as simply as print it out and mail it to yourself, because the postmark would date when it was created and when it was.
That is so true.
You could do that as simply as well. I'm not sure how,
And
if it stands up,
I've looked at that.
That used to be the case, though.
It may prove time of authorship, but copyright, no.
Yeah.
And I've come to lawyers to talk about it. So, yeah.
Also, if you write a TV script or a movie screenplay, even if you're not a member of the Writers Guild, you can submit it to the Writers Guild and register it with them.
Yeah.
$20, yes.
Yeah. But I will say this much: there's nothing quite like having something out there, that you've done, that's packaged. It's a great feeling saying what you've done is out there somewhere in the world and is yours. And it's ours.
And personally, I love audiobooks. This is a great thing in and of itself. I love listening to audiobooks. When I'm driving, I mean, until we have autonomous vehicles that actually work, I gotta watch the road, right? I love listening to audiobooks. When I exercise, I get bored doing the treadmill. I either listen to an audiobook or I watch something on my iPad, but audiobooks are easier.
So you too can listen to Helios on your treadmill or driving your car.
Many times.
See how many calories you burn listening to Helios. That's my challenge.
Any other questions for us? No? No more comments? Okay.
You all want to buy it. All right.
The CDs are available. They're $20. And otherwise, you can get it on Audible, Spotify, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and also, if you do so online, please leave us a review.
Yes.
The reviews are awesome because that tells other people, people have heard this and they love it, so I should listen to it too. So every great review you can give us, it helps us tremendously.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, but the CD is only available here. You can't go to
Yes.
Amazon to buy the CD. You can get the
Correct.
digital.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
the
if you
digital
want
is
the
available
physical,
online, but these are
it's here.
strictly for the conventions.
Yeah.
Definitely. And
Yeah. In person only for the CDs.
Yep.
And
And we will
yes, you can
autograph
get them
them too.
autographed.
And if you're really nice, you maybe even get Nick Tate to sign them. All right. Any other questions?